Now, in my last video, I talked about how much of my generation, the people of my generation, much of our childhood was shaped by video games and what video games we played, and I mentioned Minecraft, but there's another that I think stands the test of time as one of the greatest games of my generation's childhoods, right? And that game, or that series of games, is Call of Duty, and specifically Call of Duty Zombies. Now, there's a lot of things on this list. We have newer zombies like Cold War and Black Ops 4 and Extinction, even. Now, my most played zombies, I stopped playing as much zombies around Infinite Warfare, and then after that point, I didn't play a lot. I normally stuck to Black Ops 3 and earlier. I mean, I have like 1.5 thousand hours on Black Ops 3, so I'd consider myself a bit of an expert when it comes to old zombies. Now, newer zombies, there's a few maps that I haven't played or haven't played enough. That's what the X tier is for. It's going to be for haven't played. We're going to rate them based on a system of how enjoyable they are, how replayable they are, but also things like how many new mechanics it adds, how fresh it feels. And I want to keep in mind that while I do have some nostalgia for a lot of these maps, I'm going to try to be as fair as possible. I'm also going to rank based on the environment of the maps, the aura, you could say, right? The atmosphere. But anyway, let's get right into it. We're looking at Exodus. Now, Exodus is an Extinction map. I think Exodus is decent, but not the best. I remember playing it, and it wasn't really my favorite. It was kind of cool. The ending was cool, but I think for me, this goes high C, or maybe low B. I'm going to put it in low B. Actually, high C. I did like this map, but nothing stood out too much. Next up, we have Kino. Now, Kino is an all-time classic, but I've seen some lists that put it criminally high up, and I'm not going to be one of those people. Listen, it's a great map. It has a lot of great things in it. It has a lot of great memories around it. It has good atmosphere. When I was playing this, I was scared as a kid. I didn't want to play it solo. I was young. I didn't want to play it solo. But it doesn't introduce that much new content, right? It introduces Mule Kick, and that's about it. The Nova Crawlers. It was originally supposed to be a World at War map, and it kind of shows in its gameplay, right? But it's very replayable. It's a timeless classic. And I think the only place that fits it well is B, right? It doesn't have too much going for it. I've seen certain people rank it as their favorite map. I've seen people rank it S tier, and I think that's just unfair, and that's nostalgia speaking, because it's really nothing that crazy. It's just fun and replayable, and it's a classic, and I think that deserves B. Now, next up, we have Revelations. Revelations is a solid map. It's a solid map. But it's nothing too crazy. The map design isn't super creative, you know. It kind of recycles parts of other maps, but its boss fight was a bit underwhelming. But the Easter egg is cool. I do like to rank based on the Easter egg as well. The Easter egg was cool. It was very cool. The climax of the story, you could say. And I don't know. It was just it did have a lot of new mechanics, which is what is really its saving grace. There's a lot of content in and of itself in the map. I think it deserves a B tier. I think it is a solid B tier map. For me, it is the B tier map, right in the middle. And I think that's where it belongs. Now, next up, we have Descent. Descent is the Advanced Warfare final map, and I felt that Descent was decent. No pun intended, but it was decent. It was decent, but I enjoyed it a lot. I played it a lot, but it didn't stick out too much, but it wasn't bad either. And I think it's going to be another B tier. It was solid. Like, I enjoyed it, but I don't have it that high up. Now, next up, we have Ascension. And let me take a drink real quick, because I need to wet my whistle, one might say. I'm doing a lot of talking, so... Okay, now we've had a nice, refreshing drink of water. And we're going to look at Ascension. So Ascension was such a step forward from Kino. I mean, you think about Kino, and it really felt like a World at War map, like I said. But look at Ascension and how much it added. New perks, the monkeys, the new map design, like a much bigger map than had ever been seen before. The whole thing about black and white, which is not even that great of a feature, but it's unique. The rocket, and it introduces PhD. It's really good for high rounding stuff. It has a lot of unique factors, but it also introduced one of the key parts of Call of Duty Zombies moving forward from this map, which is Easter eggs. There'd always been little Easter eggs like the fly trap and Doris, but this is the first to have a real storyline, like main storyline quest, right? It feels less like an Easter egg and more like a quest, you know what I mean? It really contributes to the story, and I thought that was interesting, and it really took a step towards what would make Zombies great. And I think that deserves an A tier. It's not perfect, but it's such a beautiful step in the right direction with so many new mechanics, and it has good high rounding, like it deserves an A. Now we have the Darkest Shore. Now this is our first map so far of World War II Zombies, and I liked the Darkest Shore. I remember the Easter egg being a bit tedious when I'd done it a long time ago, but I actually did like this map. This might be one of my favorite maps from World War II Zombies, but for me, I'm gonna put it low B. And I don't remember too much of it. World War II Zombies wasn't super memorable, but I do remember enjoying that map quite a bit. And me personally, I think it was my favorite map, perhaps. But maybe it might be this next map, which is the Final Reich. Now, the Final Reich was a cool spin on Zombies, and it was cool to see how Sledgehammer would take World War II Zombies, what direction they would take it in. And I think the Final Reich was a solid map. And I like what they did. The atmosphere was really nice. They did this jump scare system, you know. It was meant to feel kind of scary. And it's honestly the scariest Zombies had felt since World at War. And I think that was cool. And I like that. And I think it deserves yet another B tier. I think we're going to see a lot of B tiers in here because I do like Zombies. So I don't like to put maps under B tier a lot because I really do enjoy. I'm not easy. I'm easy to entertain, I'd say. But next up, we have one of the greats, right? When we talk about greatness, think about someone like LeBron, like John Jones, right? When you think about greatness, you don't think about just how dominant it is at what it does, how good it is at what it does, but you think about its longevity. You know, LeBron's been in the game longer than I've been alive. John Jones was the youngest to get a UFC title, and they're still both active in their sport today. Well, John Jones. Yeah, that's a whole different topic, but you get what I mean. Origins is a map that stood the test of time for a long time, and it set the building blocks for some of the other greatest maps like Horizon, right? Origins had such a unique system. It's one of the best maps of all time. If you go around and ask 5 people their favorite Zombies maps, I guarantee at least one of them will say Origins. And there's no place that it belongs other than S tier. Now moving on to Zombies in Spaceland. Zombies in Spaceland, this was a crazy map because it was so different from Treyarch Zombies. It was the first time Infinity Ward had done Zombies. With Infinite Warfare came a lot of new ideas for Zombies. And the 80s theme is really cool. And I think it does what Infinity Ward was trying to accomplish with Infinite Warfare Zombies. It does that better than all the other maps in that game. And it deserves an S tier because everything about it is fun. There's not that many flaws. The Easter egg is hard, too. The Easter egg was actually hard. You see, oftentimes, with newer Zombies, the Easter egg being too easy, the Easter egg was actually hard on this map, and I liked that. And it was good. And after you did the Easter egg, you got to play as David Hasselhoff. I mean, that's awesome. It gets S tier just for that. Now, next up, we have Beast from Beyond. Now, Beast from Beyond tried to pull extinction factors into Zombies, and I actually came back to Infinite Warfare. I had put it down for a while. I came back to it to play this map, and I can't say I really enjoyed it all too much. For me, it's a C tier, and I don't have a lot to say about it besides that. Now, next up, Alexa, turn off. I appear to have this issue over and over where Alexa goes off. But coming up next, we have the Shadowed Throne. I think this is the most forgettable, single-handedly the most forgettable map of World War II Zombies, if not of most of Zombies. It's a very forgettable map, and I didn't even mind it that much, but it's just very forgettable. It just feels like a C tier map. Like, I don't remember having any problems with it, but I don't really remember it at all. Like, I played it, I know I played it, but I don't remember much about it. And now next up we have Bus Depot, and honestly, Bus Depot is just a spin-off of Tranzit, right? And it's trying to do what Knock did, where it's a very simple version. Just for a fun little short arcadey survival. But it doesn't have much content, and that's fine for what it's going for. But you can't rank it high. It doesn't have the atmosphere that Noct had. It's just simple for like a short game if you're just trying to like have a little fun with your friends. And that's fine. But that's not, it doesn't mean it's good. And I think the only reason I don't give it F tier here is because it didn't come out advertising itself as its own map. It just kind of sat there as a bonus map, a bonus spin-off of Transit, and that's fine. And that keeps it from F tier because it's not trying to make itself out as a real map. And next up we have Die Rise. Now Die Rise, this is a hot take. A lot of people hated Die Rise. A lot of people out there think Die Rise is pretty bad. I'm not one of those people, right? Die Rise to me is overhated, right? It's just kind of its ideas. It tried a lot of things new, and not all of those new mechanics were hits. Like the elevators, the verticality, it's cool, but it has some flaws, and I can acknowledge that, but I enjoyed it, and I thought it was fun. The Easter egg was alright, but the Sliquifier is iconic, right? And pre-nerf Sliquifier was insane. But I liked this map, I really did, and I don't think it gets too much hate, right? It gets too much hate, and for me, it's just gonna go in B tier. I think this is solid. I put it in high B. I'm gonna put it right here. Now we have Mauer or Toten. Now, coming off of COVID, I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2019, but with production of Cold War being during COVID, I didn't expect it to be good, and I never purchased it. So Mauer or Toten is gonna go in the haven't played because I never played it. Now I've heard good things about it. I've heard good things about Cold War Zombies. I've heard it was easy, but it was fun. But I haven't played it myself, and I don't deserve to rate it off of something I've heard or watched on YouTube. I've watched almost all of these maps on YouTube, but not played, and I don't think that warrants a ranking if I haven't played it. Now next up we have Awakening, which this is one of my personal favorites from Extinction. And I really liked this. I thought it was cool, its atmosphere was cool, it added a lot of new mechanics, it was fun. And to me it's A tier. And that might be a hot take. It'll be low A. I was thinking about putting it high B, but I think it'll be low A. It might be a hot take, but I liked Extinction a lot. And Awakening was one of my 2 favorite maps, I think. And we'll get to those. We'll get to the other maps here in a bit. But next we have Noct. Now, I want to paint you a picture, alright? One moment, excuse me, I need to blow my nose. Okay, now we're back. Excuse me for that pause, but next up we have Nocturne and Toten, and I really want to paint a picture here, alright? Imagine, you know, you're young, you're little, and your older brother's on the Xbox, and he's like, yo, come here, let's play a game. And you're like, what are we playing? You're a little kid, you're a little stupid, little nose-picking kid. And he's like, let's play some COD Zombies. You're like, oh, sweet. Because, like, that sounds so cool, right? And then you play, and you're kind of freaked out, but you have your brother there, so you're like, fine, right? The zombies are walking slowly, it's night, right after this intro scene, which is terrifying you, because the zombie's running at you after the blink. It's kind of a jump scare, and then you get in, and it's night, it's kind of scary, the zombies slowly walking on round 1, and it's scary, they're making noises that they don't make in any other map, it's scary. And then you play it, and you had fun, you guys died, you got a little scared when you died, and then your brother's out doing something, and you decide to get on his Xbox and play a little, and you try to play zombies on your own. It's too scary. It's too scary. We've lost that with zombies, right? We lost that with zombies now. But Nocturne and Toten did that like no other. Its aura is insane, but its mechanics aren't there, and it's so new, and that's fine. It's new because it's a new mode, it's a new idea, it's a bonus mode. It was never meant to be as big as zombies became. So there's not a lot of mechanics there. It's pretty buggy because it's World at War. But its aura, if you look at these two maps, if you look Nocturne Toten and Bus Depot, these two maps, they're pretty much the same mechanically. They have the same things going on. But Noct's aura is what puts it two above. And also that it started it all. Right? It's just so... It's a starting place, but it's bare bones. And I think C is the proper place for it. Now moving on, we have Moon. And Moon is just incredible. Right? It's such a cool concept. Fighting zombies on the moon, it's so otherworldly, but it's so fun. And think of how well it accomplishes that. The moon base, it feels so cool. And then you have the astronaut, right? You have the astronaut zombie that would take your perks, but it had the name. It had the name of one of the people on your friends list. That was so cool. That was so cool. And you see me put this in S tier, and you might be like, this guy's crazy. What's he doing? And I'm gonna tell you why. Moon for me has been my favorite map of all time, and this is my list after all. Now, I can admit mechanically it's under some of these others. To me, it's my favorite, but I think it still deserves S tier because it introduced so much new stuff to the Easter egg game. Look at this Shangri-La Easter egg, and that was a pretty big one, but look at Easter eggs before that, they were a lot smaller, on a smaller scale. Even Ascension and Call of the Dead, where they were more story-driven and felt more like quests, they still weren't that changing. But then you look at Moon, and you do this Easter egg, it's a long step process, but then finally you accomplish it, and you do that last time Samantha Says step, and you watch the rockets fly off, and they hit Earth and blow up Earth into hellfire. You watch the Earth drift apart into different pieces. You see all the perks pop up at the bottom of your screen. Samantha is giving voice lines for Richtofen, and the announcer for perks is Richtofen because they swapped souls. You go back to Area 51, it's on fire. The atmosphere in this Easter egg is unbeatable. And then they did it in Chronicles, and it's even cooler. And then you have all those perks, and you can high round easily with your friends. It's big enough to train with 4 people. And even past that, even the flaws. Let's look at some of the flaws, right? Well, the biggest flaw to me is with the Easter egg. And it's the fact that if you aren't playing on Chronicles, it's really hard to do the Easter egg because it takes a lot of luck from the box. Now in Black Ops 3, you can use Gobblegums like Immolation to help you get those weapons, or Gobblegums like Round Robin to skip rounds, so you can get the Excavator Pie to be cut, right? You need Excavator Pie to cut the tunnel, right? For the Easter egg. So there's a lot of chance in the Easter egg, but besides that, it does everything so well. And its atmosphere is unbeatable, and it's so fun with a group of people that I have to give it S. Now I promise I won't yap that long for the other maps, I just really like Moon. Okay, now next up we have Voyage of Despair. I haven't much to say about Voyage. It was a cool idea on the Titanic, in Black Ops 4. But it had new characters, and it didn't feel super fresh to me other than the engine itself. But I didn't like the map that much, not a lot of people did, it goes D. Now next up we have Outbreak, I didn't play that. Now next up we have Groston House. Groston House is the Noct of World War II zombies, but I think what's so fun about it is how chaotic it gets, because it can be fun with a lot of people. It's like Shipment, almost, but for zombies, because it's so chaotic and there's so much going on in such a small space. And I think it's fun. I think that makes it fun. And I think for that, it just goes right next to Noct, right under Noct. But it's fun, right? It's not C because it's bad, it's C because it's simple. The next up we have Dead of the Night. I never played Dead of the Night myself. I heard it was decent, but I never played it myself. But coming up next is a beautiful map. Something that is often compared to Origins, and if it's compared to a great, it must be a great, right? Horizon Drac, remember when I said, ask 5 people their favorite map, I guarantee someone will say Origins? I guarantee someone will say Horizon as well. Horizon is similar to Origins with the elemental weapon system, but their Easter eggs are a lot different. The rest of it's pretty different. It's very unique mechanics-wise. The Easter egg, in my opinion, is a bit cooler than Origins. The end cutscene of Origins is a lot cooler, had a lot more hype around it at the time, but Horizon's Easter egg felt cooler to do. for me personally because of the boss fight. And I'm a proud Void Bow user. Loud and proud, alright? I love the Void Bow. I build it every time. Everybody's always calling, no, I want the Lightning Bow. I want the Lightning Bow. Oh, I want the Wolf Bow. Hey, I'm always there for the Void Bow. I won't do Flame Bow. Whoever gets that, I'm sorry for them. But, hey, I love the Void Bow, and that makes me like this map. Also, if you're wondering, on Origins, I like the Lightning Staff. But anyway, Void Bow, yeah. Horizon's an excellent map, and I think it deserves to hang with the greats. And the only reason I have it slightly above Origins is because I do like the Easter egg just a bit more, but they're very neck and neck for me. Now, next up we have Darice, and I want to see if they have the Giant on here. Okay, that changes my idea of how I want to rank this because the Giant's separate. Darice was such a step forward in zombies, right? It added the Pack-a-Punch, and it was the first to have like a small Easter egg, but still like a main Easter egg kind of thing in the fly trap. And it also has one of the most notorious camping spots of all time, the catwalk. I think Darice is a solid B tier map, and I'm gonna put it right here under Die Rise. I like Darice a lot, and it's a classic. It's an easy map, so you can launch it up with your boys and just sit on the catwalk. It's a Friday night, you know. Those were the times, man. Those are the times, and I think it deserves a B tier. Now 9 is the best Black Ops 4 map, in my opinion. Now, I've heard Ancient Evil, the other good one, was also good, but I never played it myself personally, but 9 was very, very good. I really liked this map. I could warrant putting it S tier, but for me, it's just going to be high A. I really liked this map, though. It did a lot well. It had a similar, it was just so unique, and it followed this Coliseum look. It was really cool. It had cool atmosphere, cool weapons, cool system, and it was when we were still fresh to the Black Ops 4 system, so it felt very fresh, very new, and I like that a lot. I think 9 deserves an A tier. Now, Shaolin Shuffle. Shaolin Shuffle, for me, I enjoyed it, but it didn't stick out to me a lot, and I think it's gonna go top of C. I did like Shaolin, but right? It didn't stand out to me a lot. Now, next up we have Farm. Farm is one of my favorite maps without a Pack-a-Punch, and it's really fun. It's really fun, right? But it doesn't do a whole lot new, and that's fine. But it's another spin-off, right? And I think Farm, for me, just goes low C. It's good, and I like it, and it's not trying too much. It's one of those that gets C tier for being simple. And I think that's fine. And now next up, we have my favorite Extinction map, personally, in Mayday. Now, Mayday was really fun, and it had the Venom X. Mayday was fun. Man, I actually played so much Mayday, and I forgot about it. I really liked this map, and it was cool, the rainy outside on the boat, and the interior. It was just so cool. And I really liked Extinction. So I do get passionate about these Extinction maps, I'm not gonna lie, but Mayday, for me, is the best Extinction map. I'm gonna put it high A. I think Awakening will be low A. This will be high A. Now next, actually, I'm gonna put Awakening high B, and we're gonna put Mayday like middle A. Now next up we have Zetsubo. Now Zetsubo is like, it's good. It's right. The thing is, it was frowned upon a lot because it was the worst BO3 map. But every map in BO3 is so good that it gets outshined even though it's still good. You know what I mean? Like, all the other maps are so incredible, so is this one. The others are just better. But that shouldn't change how we view this, right? Zetsubo's still good. It has an easy Easter egg, yeah. But it's still so good. And I think people give it too much hate just because at the time it was weak compared to the other maps. But we didn't realize how good we had it. And I think for that, it goes right about here in B, right under Rev for me. Now next up, the Frozen Dawn. This is that one... What? I actually am not familiar with the Frozen Dawn, and I will be putting it and haven't played. Is that the World War II map? It is, right? Yeah. I've heard that this was bad, but I don't know if that's true. I've heard that it was pretty mid. I'm gonna put it in haven't played though. Honestly, ignore my 5 million tabs. I'm in college, but yeah, I've heard it was bad, but I haven't played it. Next up we have Town. Now, Town was like a. It was. Let me just. Words can't describe. Stories can. It's double XP weekend. You just got back from school. Take a little shower, hop on the game. You're running double XP in multiplayer. You get kind of mad. You're kind of tired of multiplayer. You're like, yo, boys, let's hop on some zombies. And you guys aren't really. You're gonna go to bed soon. You're not feeling something like Tranzit that's gonna take a while to set up. You're just like, let's hop on Town, and let's just camp. Or you can play it solo, and you can train. And we're like, let's just hop on Town, and just see how high we can get. Plus Town could be like so chill for the group since we just got off some multiplayer. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, right? It's perfect for what it does. It's the best of the spin-off maps. It's easy. It's simple. It's chill. It has to go B. Like, it's so fun, and I have so much nostalgia around this map. But it doesn't do a lot. And it's not B because of flaws, really. It's B because of simplicity. It's like Kino in that sense. But Town, man, this is what I got on every night so that I could rank my zombies rank up. And I still never figured out how to get that rank up in BO2. But, man, Town was fun. Now, next up, we have Outbreak. Now, Outbreak was the first map of Advanced Warfare Zombies. And I don't have a lot to say about it. It had some cool features. And it was alright. I don't have a lot to say, though. It's going to go bottom of B for me. I think it was decent. But it didn't do a whole lot. Actually, top of C. Top of C. Now we have the Tortured Path. I heard this was horrible. I never played it. Now we have Carrier. Carrier was another Advanced Warfare Zombies map. This was my... Let me take a peek at all these others. I believe this was my favorite back in the day. And I think it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I played a bit. But I don't remember it that well. Even though it was my favorite, I don't remember it super well. But I do think it deserves like a high B. I'll put a high B. I think this was actually a solid map. I'm not gonna lie. I think this was a solid map. I liked it a bit more than Descent. And I think high B is fine. Next up we have 5. Now, 5 was a hard map, and it was kind of scary when you were a kid. It was scary for a different reason than Noct. Noct felt like a horror element. 5 was scary because I'm a little kid, and then the Pentagon Thief is sprinting at me to steal my gun, and it's a human. That's kind of scary when you're expecting only zombies. And it had the bonfire sale. It just had some new, unique features. Plus, the cast was so fun playing as JFK or Castro. I mean, it was such a wacky idea, but it was so fun. And I think it is a solid B tier map. I'm going to put it right above Derice. Actually, put it above Di-Rise as well. Actually, yeah, I'll put it right here. I think that's a good spot for 5. Now, Attack of the Radioactive Thing. I actually did play this a lot, doing the Easter egg, like trying to do the Easter egg. And I think this was a solid map. But I haven't got a lot to say about it. It was kind of cool in some aspects, annoying in others. It was a big map. I think it just goes bottom of B. And that's like a fine spot to put it. Shadows of Evil. Now, when you talk about the objectiveness of what it makes a good map, I think Shadows of Evil ranks the highest. Right? You look, it has perfect size for 4 players. It has an Easter egg that requires 4 players, and the Easter egg isn't too hard, but it's not too easy. It's a perfect blend of everything that makes a zombies map great, and it belongs in S tier. If I tell you what I think is objectively, like, mechanic-wise, the best zombies map of all time, I say Shadows. Now, my favorite may be Moon, but I think Shadows is the best main map of all time. And it was slept on. People didn't like it. People were expecting the Richtofen crew, the Premise crew, the Origins crew when they first played. And they saw Shadows, and you get that intro scene, and it starts with like with What's-Her-Nuts seducing that one guy, and then your mom walks in, and she's like mad at you because she thinks you're watching some gooner things. but it's just Shadows of Evil. But then you give it a chance, and it's one of the best maps of all time. And I think looking back, Shadows of Evil is the greatest design map of all time. Now, let me say one more thing about Shadows. Its atmosphere is unbeatable. It's up here with the greats in atmosphere, right? It perfectly executes that 1920s Chicago vibe, and it exaggerates it in a way that's perfect for zombies, and I love that. I love it. Now, D Machine, haven't played. Firebase Z, haven't played. Alpha Omega, I actually did play, and I think this is a perfect C tier map. It's kind of big. It was cool that they did a spin on Nuketown. I think going right here is a perfect spot for it, and I actually did like it, but it didn't have too much crazy stuff. It had some flaws, some nuisances, and I think C is fine. I didn't play it that much. Nightfall, now this is another Extinction map, and I know I said I loved Extinction. This map is a good one. I think this belongs in B, pretty high up. I'm going to put it right behind Die Rise. I like Nightfall. I think it was good. I just liked Extinction, and I think Infinity Ward has made a mistake not bringing it back. I think it's one of the greatest modes that has graced the Call of Duty series, and it was given too little of a chance, and they tried to blend it with zombies, and it didn't really work. Just give me Extinction. Give me Prime Extinction, Ghost Extinction, right? Give me that, and I'll die a happy man. But anyways, we have now, once again, another one of the greatest maps. But this map, it's interesting because I feel like I might get a lot of hate if I don't put it S tier. But I'm really deciding whether it's low S or high A, because while what it does well. I don't think it has any apparent flaws. It's just a bit simpler than some of these maps, and these maps execute more perfectly than Mob of the Dead does. Once you get to this level, it's not about your flaws. It's about how great you accomplish what you're good at. And I think Mob of the Dead has more of a simple side compared to these other maps, but I think I will leave it S. I've decided. I think I will leave it S. It's going to be low S, but when we talk about atmosphere, man, they nailed it with this one. Once again, they nailed it. This is probably my top 3 atmosphere maps. Shadows of Evil, Moon, Mob. Honorable mention, Noct. Okay? That's my top 4, actually. And they can go in any order, to me, honestly. But Mob of the Dead does so much well, and it's depressing almost, right? This whole cycle system in the Easter egg. It's cool, and it's different than all the other Zombies maps, and it makes it stand out, and it makes it S. Now, next up, we have Blood of the Dead, which is Mob of the Dead, but horrible. This goes in D tier. I actually liked Blood of the Dead at first, a bit, but the more you played it, it was constant blue screens on launch. Its Easter egg was really hard, but not in a good way. There's the stupid bird thing that can spawn in like 40 different spots. Who cares, right? We want something that's hard difficulty, not hard searching for something, right? Hard boss fight or something. It's just mid. It kind of takes Mob of the Dead and makes it worse. I think the good things about it are what it does in the Easter egg. The Easter egg is really cool. Like not actually the steps itself, but lore-wise, the Easter egg is cool. Gameplay-wise, not much, but what it does for the lore is really interesting, and it took it on a new path, and it began setting up the in-game of the zombies premise storyline, origin storyline, Aether storyline. And I think for that, it deserves where it is. Now, next up, we have Shino Numa. Shino Numa is a classic. I haven't too much to say about Shino Numa. We all know it. We all love it. I think it just goes, for me, high C. I think that's fine. Shino Numa doesn't do anything too crazy. It was just fun. It was cool. The mud system was cool. And for high rounding, because of the glitch with the Wonderwolf, it lets you get to any round as that the game can handle before crashing. So for high rounding, the highest round ever achieved will always be on Shino Numa. And next up, I'm about to hit you with probably the biggest hot take yet. But let me paint a picture for you first. I like painting pictures. You could call me a bit of an artist when it comes to my wordplay. Let's say you were playing Double XP Weekend, just got off school, and you and your friends, you're tired of multiplayer, but you don't want to play town. There's still a whole night ahead of you. You're gonna stay up late. You want to play something with a lot of content, but the game just came out. You don't have a lot to choose from. You pick Transit, and wow, man, Transit got so much hate. But when you played with those 4 people, there was a spot for everyone. The Easter egg was difficult, but fun, if you ever did it. Getting Pack-a-Punch open was actually hard. When could we say that about any other map 90% of the time? The Pack-a-Punch is easy to get. It was actually difficult. It wasn't hard, but it was difficult compared to other maps, especially at the time. Man, and it was so fun. The only bad part was the fog. But look at Transit. And we used to flame it, we used to call it trash, but when we look back after what we've got in recent years, it's good. And I think that's agreeable. When you see that I put it in S tier, you're gonna think I'm mad. But man, so many days on Transit where I love playing this map. I love Transit, and I played with a lot of friends and it made some great memories. And I said I'd try not to be too nostalgic in this, try to give it a fair rating, but I think the mechanics in this map are really fun. There's a lot of new content. There's introduced Easter eggs where there's 2 different paths for the Easter egg. It was the first we saw of Earth after the bomb hit Earth from Moon. God, it was just so unique. And it had its flaws, sure, but to me, it's S tier. And I leave it at that. Next up, we have the Giant. Now, the Giant is just Derice. I mean, I'm going to put it right next to Derice. Derice has some cool things over it, like certain guns and stuff, but the Giant fixes its issues, like the bugs, like the Wonderwaff bug where your Juggernog doesn't work anymore. Stuff like that, it fixes some of the bugs. And with Gobblegums and the new Snowpile Easter egg for an extra perk, you know, it's kind of unique. It's kind of interesting. But I think it just deserves being around the same spot as Derice. You know what I mean? Next up, we're going to do Buried. Now, Buried is a fan favorite for sure. And I think one of its biggest flaws is how easy it is. And maybe that's good for some people, but I like a challenge, okay? And for me, it's still amazing. It's kind of easy. It's going A. I'm going to put it... I actually like 9 more than Buried, I think. I think it's a good high A. Buried is a fun map, the Paralyzer, you know, the Wall Chalk, Leroy. There's Vulture Raid. You're able to get, like, all the perks or whatever. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool. But it's pretty easy. If you go up to the one spot on top of the bank or whatever, with the Paralyzer, just farm there for rounds. It's pretty easy. But it's really fun. It is really fun, and its map layout is cool, its design is cool, its atmosphere is nice. And I think it deserves an A. I think it's a solid A. Now, next up we have Tag. Didn't play, heard it was alright. Call of the Dead. I really like Call of the Dead, but I didn't play it enough, man. I need to go back. When I was younger, I didn't play this map much, and then I played it more when I got a little bit older, and it was really fun. I wish I would have played it in its prime, because now, when I went back and played it a lot of the time it was alone or with one other person. I wish I could have played it with 4 a lot more. But it is fun, and I think, for me, it's just like a middle... It's like a high B. High B. I'm gonna put a high B. I think top of B is actually fitting. Call of the Dead was good. My biggest complaint about it is that it was impossible to round 100. It was impossible to high round on because it had no infinite damage weapon, excuse me. And they did recently find a technique that has to do with repairing and standing next to a certain window and manipulating spawns so that it restarts the round. But that's not like a real way of high rounding, right? That's just to reach round 100 to make it possible. But that's my only complaint about the map. But I wish I played it more. Maybe I could have given it higher if I played it more. But yeah. Ancient Evil, I said earlier I haven't played, but I've heard it was really good. Point of Contact was the first map of Extinction, and I really liked this map, actually. And I think it had a cool atmosphere, and you drop the nuke at the end or whatever. It's so cool. It's so cool. And I think, for me, it's going to be low B. I liked this map a lot. I really liked Extinction a lot. A lot of Extinction falls into B tier. Mayday, I'm gonna put up in A tier, but I think Extinction was just fun, and I think all the maps were pretty consistently good. They weren't insane, they weren't S tier, but they were consistently good. Notice all of these maps are all in B tier or A tier. I think that's fine, and that's a good way to set a series of maps. Now next up we have Rave in the Redwoods. I actually really liked this map. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a cool atmosphere. That's the one thing that zombies, that Infinite Warfare zombies did so well, was the atmosphere in a different way than Treyarch zombies. Treyarch zombies often went for this, you know, scary here or like dark environment. But this was fun. This was goofy and fun. That's what they always went for in Infinite Warfare. I think that's what they did best. I think Rave in the Redwoods, it's better than all the other maps, other than Zombies in Spaceland, of course, for me personally. And I think I would put it right up here. I think that's a fitting spot. I'd rather play it than... Yeah, would I rather play it than Die Rise? Let me do some management. Yeah, I think that looks good. That spot looks good. Alright, that looks nice. Next up, we have Classified. Classified is just the exclusive, the bonus map that was 5 recreated on Black Ops 4. And I think it was solid, but it was a little weaker than 5 in my opinion. But it was nice to have, right? It was nice to have, but it didn't do anything new. It was a little bit weaker. And I think C is a belonging spot for it. It just feels alright in C. We'll put it right below Shaolin and Knocked. I think right here is good. I think it was solid. Now Gorod might be... I'm thinking of where it goes. Gorod was really fun. It's the hardest Easter egg in Black Ops 3, I think. And I think that's a good thing. And Gorod had a lot of new stuff. It was fun to high round on. It's fun. It just has fun gameplay. It's a good map, cool atmosphere, cool ideas for the environment of the map. And I think it's just an A tier map. Like, I mean, does it belong anywhere else than A? It feels perfect for A. It's not quite up here with the greats, in my opinion, but it's right under them. And it's really good. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. But it's not S2. It's just A. And I think that's fine. It had the Ray Gun Mark III, and that was really cool. It brought the PPSH back. Do you remember when that trailer dropped? I mean, the hype when we saw the PPSH in the box, and then the Ray Gun Mark III, it was electric. It was peak zombies, and it was a peak map. And it deserves A. I might actually put it up here. Now next, we have Shangri-La. Shangri-La's hard and hated, right? You could say it's a bit like me. But it's something about it. It does its atmosphere thing well. I talk about that a lot. Black Ops 1 did that very well. And it's really, it started the whole, like, big Easter eggs, right? Because Call of the Dead had a long step Easter egg. And then Ascension had a bit of a long step Easter egg. And they both had lore relevance. But Shangri-La had, like map-changing events where the sky goes dark, you know? And then Richtofen, I believe in that map, gets all the perks after you complete it. I could be wrong. But this map was fun. It was good. And I think it's overhated because it's hard and people suck, if you want my real opinion. I'm going to put it right here. I think Zetsubo is better. I think right here is a good spot for it. Now next up, we have Infection. This is the worst zombies map of all time in any mode. Burgerlands. Alexa, turn off. Burgerlands, Burger Town, Infection. This was just horrible. It had the stupid thing with the survivors. It tried some stuff new, which you can respect, but all of it sucked. It was like, the only good things about it were the parts of Advanced Warfare that were good in all the other zombies maps, right? So there's no reason to play this map when you have these other maps to choose from. It's just, everything it tried to accomplish well, it did horribly. And that's okay, we all make mistakes. And boy, did Sledgehammer make one of them with this map. Moving forward, we have Verrucht, and we're nearing the end here. I'm gonna put these, go ahead and put these in, and haven't played. So, what is this? What is this? Terra Maledicta. This is that one. Okay, yeah. This is that one map in Vanguard. That's what it was. God, I couldn't remember this map for some reason. I was gonna cut that out where I looked that up, but I think it deserves to stay because I was trying to figure out what this was. I was gonna look it up and cut that out of the video. But that deserves to stay to just show how horrible Vanguard Zombies was and why it will go F tier. I played it and I didn't know that was what it was called. I vaguely remembered the name. That's actually, that might be worse, the worst Zombies map. You know what? Maybe Infection had something going for it, and it was that it had rounds, right? Oh man, Terra Maledicta. Yeah, Vanguard Zombies was just bad. Bro. Terra Maledicta. This was cool, right? They actually did try to return to round-based zombies for this. I forgot that this was this map. It actually was kind of cool, but it just still felt off to me. And it's still gonna stay in F tier. I'll actually put it above. I think Infection might be worse, but it felt so out of place. It felt so off to me. But I know what it was going for. It was kind of cool, but it just felt off, right? It didn't feel like zombies, especially because of the way the engine works. Just so much made it not feel like zombies. And I know I was supposed to rank this map next, Verrucht, but I wanted to get that out of the way because I forgot what map that was. And now we have Verrucht. Now Verrucht was horrifying when you were young because you had this scary dental office. You could hold square on the drill and it would play someone screaming. There's blood everywhere. But the main reason it's scary is because you just got out of Knocked, by the way, which is the scariest zombies map ever. And you go into Verrucht, and now you're on like round 10, and they're sprinting at you faster than they have in any other map other than Transit when they're behind the bus. They have sprinter zombies. That's never before seen, never after seen, really. And it's scary, man. It's scary to see them sprinting at you that fast. And it's hard. This map is hard. So for me, I really like this map. It introduced the perk system, and I think it gets a B. I like it more than Shino Numa. I like it more than these maps. I think it belongs in B tier. Actually, it'll go right behind Descent. Next and last, Nuketown. Nuketown is interesting because it was fun. It was. But the way the perks and the Pack-a-Punch fell from the sky, it could really hoe you, you know? You could get hoed pretty hard if you don't get jugged till round 25 or pack, right? It's kind of brutal if that happens to you. And it's hard to really go anywhere. You can train in the backyards, but there's not a lot of good spots to be at. It's hard, but not in a good way like Verrucht. But it was fun. And I think it goes right ahead of Farm for me. It was fun. It was cool that they did something with Nuketown for zombies. But the whole falling from sky thing really messed it up in some regards. But it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And I think this makes the list. Well, would you look at that? Quite the list, right? Quite the list. Some may call me crazy. Some may agree. That's alright. Tell me what you think in the comments. Alright? But this is my list. This is how I feel about them. And I think it looks good. And I think I'll call it a day. Enjoy your evening, your day, your tomorrow, your yesterday. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
Bitch, we in a VA. Bitch, we in a VA. Bitch, I'm in a rich. I said, bitch, I'm in a. Bitch, I cold. Young miss my brother, that's for sure. I hit the stove before I would hit your hoe. I know you feel.